So when you came back, you did run a little club in Shepherd's Bush, I believe.
No, it was in Shepherd's Market.
Shepherd's Market, sorry.
In Mayfair, yeah.
Could you just tell us the story about the Landlord?
Yeah.
That is fabulous.
It is quite an extraordinary story. So I came back to this country, and with the guy who originally had persuaded me to go to Portugal, Neville Roberts, and he said, you know, there's a property in Shepherd's Market, you know, we could take that over and open the 7, it was called 7.5, and open a 7.5, because of course by that time we had Rolodex in those days.
Yes.
Rolodex systems with, say, now I mean my contacts file, there must be 17,000, but then there was probably about maybe 2,000.
Right.
And those were people who'd loved the club, and which I ran all by myself for the last 4 or 5 years. And so I'd learnt quite a lot. Anyway, cut a very long story short, it was these premises, and it had been called the Black Sheep, announced it was going to open, and what was necessary was really to get a musician to come, and somebody who could understand the flavour of the club. And there was a young guitarist around at that time, black guitarist, and he was amazing. And when I was sort of inside the club getting it together, he was practicing, and he'd fool around, and sometimes he'd pick up a broom and pretend to play it. I'd never seen anybody ever in my life play the guitar like this young man. It was quite extraordinary. And anyway, he signed a contract. The day of the opening, he recorded a record. Right. The day of the opening, his song, his record went into what we called the top 10.
Yeah.
And so he was thrilled, and he was playing, and by the second, third day, it had gone up to number 1. And to get into this club, which was in Shepherd's Market, you had to come in and go down some stairs. Well, I can tell you, people were in downstairs. On the stairs were the Rolling Stones, my brother, he was there. They were all wearing these sort of military coats in those days with all the badges on, you know, all the medals. And the queue and the people were around Shepherd's Market. So it did cause a bit of a congestion problem.
Wherever you go, Liz.
Well, it was quite extraordinary, and that young man was Jimi Hendrix.
I mean,
and it was the first time. And funnily enough, my brother has actually made a film, because I've often wondered, nobody's ever realised that I'm the first person that put on Jimi Hendrix in London. And when his record went, and what did that guy do? He was so furious.
This is the Landlord.
Yeah, the Landlord, I think he was called Sloan. He wanted to get rid of us, he couldn't cope, so he turned off the electricity. And you know, he was the landlord, turned off the electricity, and so we had to close the club.
That is...
Jimi Hendrix might have been quite thrilled, because by that time he was going that
places,
way. Yeah, really was. But my brother did make a film on Jimi Hendrix, and he does refer to that.
Does
whole,
he?
Yeah.